everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Threats. As usual, it's Hump Day, and we are here to bring you some news, entertainment around the football and the NFL. I am your host, KJAM, and I am joined by the inspirational co-host, Wheels. How you doing today, buddy?
Pretty good. Excited to talk about the rest of the NFL, the NFC East and the NFC West, along with the Would You Rather segment we have going today, and get into news and rumors.
All right, so that's going to be what's kind of on the docket today, but before we kind of get into any of that, we heard the news today. As always, we have the drop of the Madden cover, and the Madden cover will be Josh Allen. How do you guys feel about this out there? And if any of you are out there, do you believe the Madden curse is still in the works? How about you, Wheels? What do you think about it?
I've been a huge Madden guy for years. I think the curse is still out there, and I did predict at the beginning or the end of last season that Josh Allen will miss between 3 and 4 games this year due to injury because the way they use him and run with him on the offense. And if Sean McDermott doesn't get, a running game, I think that's what's going to cause the injury to the Madden curse will be Josh Allen. So, yeah, I think it's going to happen this year.
All right. So, well, that being said, 3 out of the last 10 have only been cursed. So 7 haven't been cursed. Now, I will say that, we're talking 2 Mahomes and 2 Brady's.
Yeah, and then there was a split one.
That was the Mahomes-Brady, right?
Well, there was another
and then the
one.
Madden one. So out of the last 10, did Madden die after his...
Yeah, so I guess that's a curse.
They didn't say the curse struck, but, that's kind of intense considering Madden died after the release, right? Or was it the release when he passed? I can't remember.
Oh, no, I think you're right. I think it was the release when he passed.
I think it was the release for his pass.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in recognition. And I don't know if any curse will break anything. I think that overall, there's 24 Maddens. This is the 24th. And out of all of them, you have 60% of curses actually hitting.
There's more than 24 Maddens.
Oh, there's 24.
No, there's more.
Unless they haven't been numbered.
You gotta think they started in the 90s, buddy.
Dude, there's 24. That's the 90s.
We're in Madden 2024. It would only have started till the 2000s.
98.
That would have been 20.
We're in 2024, correct?
So that would have been, if it started in 98, that'd be 26.
Whatever.
Math's hard.
Is it based? No, is it? Well, you know what? That's a good point. It's not based on the year. It's based on the number. Whatever. I don't even... No, that's a good point. I don't know how many there are now.
There's a lot. There were some goofy ones where I think it was like Madden 20-something. It was the anniversary of something, like the 20 years of Madden or something like that. There's been... But yeah, I mean...
The first ever Madden was 99.
Okay, so yeah. You're
so
right.
25.
24, 25, yeah. And then... I mean, so talking about Madden real quick, what was your favorite Madden play growing up? Mine was 07. I believe... Crap, who was the running back for Seattle? The great running back for Seattle. I can't remember.
What year? 07?
07, I think it was.
You have it right.
I just can't remember the guy.
Sean Alexander?
Sean Alexander.
That's yes, good. Sir. Mine, I've owned a couple. One of my first that I owned was the Marshall Faulk, 2003.
Yep.
And then I owned a lot up to more recent days. I wasn't a Madden kind of guy. I didn't buy every year.
There was another game. It was another football game. I know we're getting off topic real quick. Blitz 2024?
Yes. I'll play Blitz all day.
I loved Blitz,
all day,
the league.
Every day.
And then there was one with where you actually got to play inside the helmet. The POV of the actual player. That was awesome.
That was a quarterback. ESPN. That was a quarterback game.
Yeah, I think it was ESPN or something like that.
Vision something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. They were trying to take a spin off of Madden.
That was fun though. I mean,
math sucks. That wasn't math. I do my years for math like my mom adds her birthdays. So I'm always one less than I actually am. Just putting it that way. But that being said, I don't think the curse exists. Now, if it's going to exist...
Legend.
Now, I will tell you, I only think the reason Josh Allen got the cover was because Madden in 2024, because DeMar Hamlin was unable to be there without a stunt double.
I completely agree.
I think that's the only reason that...
You know who deserved that is Mahomes. Again, I mean, it sucks, and people are going, oh, he's already had 2. Well, guess what?
You know
When
what's funny?
Well,
you know what's funny? They say Mahomes didn't get cursed, but he did get cursed because he's been injured every year that he's played, and there's always that risk of him not even. There was a risk, and he didn't finish a game last year.
It's always ankle injuries with Mahomes.
So,
but guess what? The dude he puts up his bootstraps and he keeps going.
I guess.
I mean, as a Buffalo Bills fan, I'm a Cleveland fan first, but as a Bills fan,
he has to say that, or I'm gonna like harass him every single time. He has to say it.
He did not deserve the Madden cover. I was very surprised today when I saw that he dropped with a Madden cover.
No, I think this was a worse year this year than it was last year for him. This makes no sense to me unless well, you know what? This makes sense to me. The NFL did everything they could to help Buffalo. Didn't they send them to a home game? Yeah, the Detroit game
for their back-to-back games, one against the Browns and then one against Detroit.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So that being said, I agree with you. Who cares about the Madden curse? There's not much going on out there, and Madden's been irrelevant for the last decade. To be honest, most Madden players hate the game anymore. It's become microtransactions. Nobody wants to play it anymore, and everybody says their Madden ratings are so far off. They pick the guys that they love, and everybody else gets abused. I actually would love to see Aaron Rodgers' Madden rating because the NFL hates him. So Madden probably hates him also.
Yeah, he's probably an 86, if I had to guess.
I'd laugh if they put him at a 78.
Well, now that you're on the Jets.
His speed is probably 48.
Tom Brady was the slowest quarterback I have ever played with in Madden. It was playing with a Mack truck.
Did you ever play with Peyton?
I
don't think they allowed him to run.
I don't know. I mean, 07, he would have been in the league in 07. So, I guess I did play with Peyton at one point. I was playing. I played with Vic a lot.
Running quarterback back then, it made sense because it was unbreakable.
Man.
Yeah, it was unbreakable.
It was like Lamar.
Well, now Ryan's telling me that apparently there's a hack to where a play hack where you can instantly catch the ball. It's unstoppable and people are hacking the game at this point. So there's 4 plays you can play.
It's ridiculous anymore with video games. I mean, it's just
the cross-platform thing doesn't help either.
No.
So because it's just every game system works at different speeds and different paces, so it's just so hard to keep up with all that. Anyways, off Madden. Sorry about that. That was a rant. That was a raid.
So we got OTAs starting up.
Well, it's not starting up. OTAs have been going on. They were going on last week. So did you see anything out there in OTAs in the last week since we've been here Wednesday?
Not other than their teams pumping up guys that you're going to do in the off season, make them feel good, but nothing that has stood out to me personally that I was going to bring on the show. I really haven't seen anybody other than maybe Will Levis. He hasn't played the best. We talked about the Baker and the Kyle Trask last week.
It's funny that you say that because I was talking to Ryan, and Ryan's like, dude, that dude is a bomb, Will Levis.
We called that,
and he he's like, he cannot throw a deep pass worth a damn.
No, they said, he has a cannon, but guess what? You can have a cannon, but if you have an inaccurate cannon, that doesn't help you in the NFL. I mean, you need to be accurate. This is the top. I mean, it's the top echelon players that are playing in this league. There's a reason why you get drafted, and the reason why you get drafted is to play good. And
he proved that he was a second round pick.
Yeah.
So he's a project at this point. I mean, he's not a starter. He's not a backup.
And Tennessee looks smart. I don't want to say second round pick. It's a little high. We had him as a first. I graded him as a third round pick personally. But, a second-round pick, you got Ryan Tannehill. I don't want to say 1 foot out the door, but he's getting there.
He's still under contract for 2 years. It's not 1 foot out the door.
You can coach up Will Levis and just see, hey, maybe we got something here. It's better than the issues that San Francisco's having with Trey Lance right now.
Hey, sweetheart, I know that you're in the chat. I apologize, but you spelled terrible wrong. It's terrible. Terrible.
It's terrible.
It's supposed to be T-U-R. Terrible.
Just like diabetes. Got the diabetes.
All right, so nothing going on at OTAs, right?
It's been a very quiet.
We're not seeing too much.
Weeks, I would say. I mean,
I wouldn't say 2 weeks. I'd say just this past week has been kind of quiet. Like you said, you have some of the hype with some of the quarterback to receiver connections. I just saw some with T-Law and their receiver. I guess he made a great catch, but again, you got guys going out there not playing with DBs. There's nothing going on. These guys are literally just playing catch. Yeah. So there's not much we can say here. Again, it's offensive.
Yeah, like you said,
there's no defense here. It's offense only.
It's the same thing with the combine. You're gonna look good when nobody's covering you. I mean, that's your that's the whole reason behind it. I mean, OTAs I'm not taking.
I look like an NFL receiver when nobody's covering me.
I look like an NFL middle linebacker if nobody was, on the other end to take a block and I was just hitting pads. Let's be honest.
That's it. That's what we need to be doing. We need to just take one-sided videos and then just cut it as soon as you go to hit something.
You got a big enough backyard.
As soon as you go to hit something, we just cut it. And then we go, what happened next? And then we just take a picture of you on the ground because we know you're not making it anywhere. All right. So we're going to move on. We're going to go right into the NFC East and West. What do you want to do first? You want to go?
Let's go West because I think we're going to have a little bit more to talk about there.
All right, we can go West. Let's go West.
So do you want to start or you want me to start?
Oh, let's... I lost my chat. Sorry.
You're good.
Apparently, if I don't touch my computer, I lose the screen. So let's go to the... you start. I don't know. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me think about this. NFC West. Do I want to start this? Who's in the West?
You got the Cardinals. You got the Rams. You got the Niners. I figured
I'll start it. It's going
to take us a little bit longer to get
I'll
through
start it so I can not defend my position and you can attack it, and then I'll defend it after
you mean
the fact.
what I do best?
Yeah, so, okay, here we go. NFC West. I have the Rams fourth. That's kind of obvious, right? Like,
yeah, it's a hard one down there.
I mean, they can be better, but
this is not going to be a good division.
I don't know if it's going to... I don't know. This division is capable of all the above. Like, I think this division could be the best division in the NFC. It could also be the worst division in the NFC.
I don't want... And I hate saying wild card.
You got Matt Stafford. You got Kyler Murray. You got Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, whatever conglomerate of things there. And then you have Geno, who game manager. Like, that's all he is. So I don't think... The reason, let me just give you my reasoning for why I have Seattle 1. And to be honest with you, the reason I have Seattle 1 is because of their consistency. I think it will be there this year. I think the only reason that Seattle struggled towards the end of the season was defense, and I think that they went out and they did straighten up that defense a little bit. Let me give you some of the guys that they got. I was just looking at it a second ago. So they did get the linebacker from the Steelers. Which helped their linebacking core.
Not Tremaine Edmonds.
Sorry.
He went to Michigan.
Yes, he did go to Michigan, and for some reason I lost him.
I wanted him for the Browns.
Devin Bush.
Yeah, and he
Devin Bush
didn't really prove much.
They went out, they got Boye Mafe, or they had Boye Mafe, and then they also had Bobby Wagner. So, like, that's their linebacking core. And then you still have some good guys on the defense. They got Draymond Jones. You got Jaron Reed. So I think that and then I think they also drafted a kid. You also have Devin Witherspoon, who they drafted at corner. They have Tariq Woolen and Devin Witherspoon. Those are stud corners. So I just think that defensively this team's gotten a lot better. And offensively they didn't get worse because they got Jackson Smith and Jigba, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. So I see this team taking a huge step forward, and I see San Francisco staying the same, if not taking a step back because of the quarterback situation. Now, both these teams can be very competitive, and keep in mind, San Francisco is going to have the first place schedule for that division, and Seattle is going to have the second place schedule. Yeah, so it should be slightly easier than San Francisco. So that's the reasoning why I have this where it is.
So yeah, you went full in depth, which I like. I mean, I love that reasoning for you. That second place schedule. It may not seem like a lot on paper, but when you play game to game, depending on when you play these guys, it matters. I mean, it matters a lot.
So, Johnny, clearly not believing in Purdy and believing in Murray too much. Let me address that really quick because it's not about Purdy at all. It's about Purdy might not start half the year. And if I were to play Purdy, I'd be a little more skeptical about playing Purdy over Sam Darnold and Trey Lance if I were playing that team. Now, Murray, on the other hand, Murray can still beat you with his feet. He's one of the best scramblers in the league right now.
You got to remember,
whether or not you like his ability behind the pocket is a whole nother story. Yeah. When he's out and he is on the run, Murray is capable of doing something with his feet. And don't forget that team went 11-0 2 years ago. And now, granted, you had DeAndre Hopkins, but they went 11-0, and then they just fell off a cliff because it was Call of Duty season. So... But
short stuff.
That team is capable of doing the same thing. I don't think they got worse in reality.
No. So, and yeah, Johnny, they said he's supposed to be ready week 1, but again, we've seen that a lot. Doesn't mean there's a long road ahead of what he did. He had an UCL, which is, I mean, that's Tommy John surgery. That's a big surgery. I mean, some guys are out a year with that injury. I mean, it's not an easy injury to come back from. I would say, in my opinion, I think it's harder to come back from a UCL injury more than an ACL injury.
Well, and I think Kyler Murray might have another ACL injury come October. It's November. It's the first week in November. It's the first week in November, so he has to get out a little early.
A third week.
Because I think you get that 10-day trial period.
Yeah,
for
you
Call
get the
of Duty.
double
XP the first week of.
And then
so
if you get Doritos and Mountain Dew.
So he might not be there. He might not be there around 9/11. I apologize.
No,
Sorry.
He's gonna miss. He's injured. Remember, he's gonna miss. He'll be out for half the year.
Yeah, they said about 6 games.
Yeah,
so and you know what? I guess in reality,
Clayton Tune pick him up.
Well, don't forget, I have San Francisco at 2.
Yeah.
And I have Arizona at 3, which is ironic that both those teams don't have starting quarterbacks, and I have the Rams at 4.
But if you
actually might put the Rams at 3 or 2 because that defense was just unhealthy last year, and now they're coming back healthy. So I'm okay. Okay, let's go to Wheels. Let's see what Wheels has because I'm sure he's going to tear me apart a little bit.
So I have San Francisco 1, obviously. I think Brock Purdy comes back week 3 or 4. I think Trey Lance or Sam Darnold. If you go 2-2, 1-2 with those guys, you're good. You're comfortable. It's not the best, but it's a comfortable position to be in.
I think you're better off going with Sam Darnold.
Me too. I think because, he's a game manager, and I think with the way Kyle Shanahan, schemes that, he's going to be comfortable in that situation. You're not asking him to make these huge throws. You've got a good enough running game to get away with most of the game. You can, run most of the game. You don't need him making these huge plays, just dink and dunk for a couple yards here and there. That's why I have San Francisco number 1. Number 2, I think it's a 1-game, 2-game difference between Seattle and San Francisco. I really like Geno. I think he's going to double up on what he did last year and come back even stronger personally.
He got paid.
Yeah, and
3 years, so.
Yes. I mean, and it's prove-it time. You drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like you said, you built up that secondary a little bit with Devin Witherspoon. You also got another good running back in Zach Charbonnet. So, I mean, they're giving him the pieces. They're giving him the pieces to, for him to succeed. And that's, I mean, people called it crazy for signing him to a 3-year deal, but we'll talk about somebody else that did that.
Don't forget, they also drafted Kenny McIntosh in the 7th round.
He went from, UAB?
Georgia.
All right, my bad.
So, they went stout on running backs. They still have DJ Dallas.
A lot of these teams did. And then, obviously, you go to the Rams, which I think Matt Stafford, I think he should have retired after the Super Bowl, I'll be honest. I mean, I think Baker should have stayed with the Rams.
I mean, Stafford wants it. I don't know what to say. He just wants it.
He had a bad year last year. I know it was an injury year, but I don't know how much he can bounce back after that injury. I mean, he's old. I mean, his teammates, his wide receivers are getting older out there. I mean, you lost Robert Woods, obviously. Cooper Kupp was injured last year. I mean, Cooper Kupp is early 30s, I think. So, he's not getting any younger. He might have hit his,
Why do you
peak.
always do this? Cooper Kupp's only 28. You always do this.
I thought he was 29, 30. I thought he was
You
up
always
there.
do this. Cooper Kupp is 29.
All right.
Okay.
When's his birthday?
Not early 30s.
So he'll be 30. Technically, that's early 30s, 30.
Whatever. You always do this. You always say that the receivers are older than they are. They still have Tutu Atwell. They still have Van Jefferson.
Guys who have improved.
Spence Koronic, who stepped up huge last year.
He's the the great value version of.
I mean, they
Cooper
still have
Kupp.
Tyler Higbee at tight end, who's pretty damn good.
Yep.
But he's a little on the
running
older
back
side.
is a big concern for them.
Well, they drafted Zach Evans.
Yeah, but again, and he was.
Now they haven't signed Zach Evans yet, which is kind of weird to me.
I didn't see that yet.
I just looked at it, and it actually says unsigned at the bottom, so that's kind of weird to me. They haven't signed Stetson Bennett, Steve Avila, so they haven't really signed any of the draft picks.
I do like Stetson Bennett on the team with Sean McVay. I think he fits that mold. Do you think Stetson Bennett will play at all, whether due to injury or due to poor play by Matt Stafford?
I'm going to say this till the day Matt Stafford dies. This dude is one leap away from a broken hip.
I mean, he's in a bad predicament right now, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I think he's got a year, maybe 2 left if he's lucky. especially with the way, he's just been abused his whole career, especially with the way he was abused in Detroit. I mean, he was the only, besides KJ, he was the only, or CJ, sorry.
I was like,
CJ,
what?
Besides CJ, he was the only other guy that really they had on the team. And then obviously you go to the Call
Johnny,
of Duty
I'm gonna forget Kyron Williams because he is.
He hasn't proven anything. And then you go to the Arizona Cardinals, which I think that Kyler Murray will miss at least 6 weeks, at least. And then if you look at their schedule, they don't have the easiest schedule in this division, in my opinion, with the way they have to play it. Because most of their games are a little bit harder towards the end of the year, and that's when Kyler's injured. So maybe for some reason they'll come out and they'll be really strong late. But going those 6 weeks, I don't think you're going to get but maybe 2 wins in those 6 weeks because you got Clayton Tune.
Wow, you ain't shitting, man. The end of their schedule, end of their schedule, week 18 Seattle, week 17 Philly, week 16, which you like Chicago. I'm still saying Chicago's going to in a situation. Yeah, week 15 is the 49ers, but they do have a week 14 bye, so they can come back firing.
Yeah, but that's my biggest concern is it just depends how you look at the way things are because you lost D-Hop. I know that. You got Marquise Brown. Who's their other? I can't think of their other wide receiver.
I was struggling with this earlier today. I've got it right here.
Obviously.
So you've got Buddha. Nope, that's safe. They have 2 receivers signed. That's it?
Is that it?
Hold on. Okay, here we go. They've got Auden Tate. That's the other kid from Cincy.
Auden Tate.
Oh, I keep forgetting about that kid. Sorry. Zach Pascal, Rondale Moore, Greg
Pascal
Dortch.
From Indianapolis.
Greg Dortch was young, and he stepped up last year. Marquise Brown. So, they have guys. The losing D-Hop is going to be a struggle.
Do you think that Marquise is good enough to be a number one?
So I had this conversation with Ryan earlier.
Take fantasy out of it.
No, I had this conversation with Ryan earlier because, Lamar Jackson's always our argument. Is Lamar Jackson had no receivers. But, Marquise Brown was traded as a number 1 pick to a team as a number 1 receiver. As I die on cam. So the question is, if Marquise goes to Arizona and now he's getting the opportunity to be the number 1.
Yeah.
He's getting the opportunity.
Fledged. He did that last year when D-Hop was suspended, but you had Kyler. You don't have Clayton Tune and Colt McCoy throwing you the ball for maybe upwards of 6 weeks.
So, but my thing is even if Clayton Tune starts or even if, I can't remember the other kid.
McCoy.
McCoy, but I don't even think Clayton Tune's going to start. I think it's going to be the other kid that was there.
Don't tell me
Bluff.
that. Oh,
I can't remember his first name.
Not Connor Bluff.
But Bluff was his first name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It is. Oh wait, David Bluff.
David Blau.
Blau. Yes, and
From Detroit. Yeah,
they have Jeff Driscoll.
I think he played for Cincy a couple years ago when we played him.
But all I'm saying is that if Marquise gets 130 targets, right?
Yeah.
And he receives 95 of those for 1,400 yards. Is that not number 1 status?
That's a good.
So the question is, if he does that with Kyler, are we going to contemplate whether or not Lamar Jackson actually had a true number 1, or if Lamar Jackson is the issue in this situation and Kyler's better at a passing?
I want to say I bash Lamar and Kyler a lot. 100%. I do. I don't like either.
I don't like running quarterbacks.
I don't. I like a guy who stays in the pocket, leaves when he needs to. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. They don't rely. But no. So I think at the end of the day, it comes down to who has the ball the most. And who has the ball the most on the Ravens, rather than passing or running. It's Lamar. So,
yeah, but that's a run-heavy offense.
Yeah, but that's
so even the running backs have a ball a shit ton.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to go with is you go into a running heavy offense to a pass heavy offense almost with Arizona. Arizona's almost ran like an air raid.
Yeah, I would agree that Arizona's probably like a 60-40. I would probably say 60-40.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's college system-esque because it's lazy.
Well, not no more.
But
the coach isn't there.
That's what I was trying to say. Is it's kind of lazy because the coach isn't there. But
yeah,
it's more of an air raid. That's just how Kyler has always played. But now you don't have Kyler playing.
D-Hop either.
Yeah, and D-Hop. So that's my biggest thing is
Maybe it changes a little bit.
I think this is a throwaway year for Arizona. I think they said, screw it.
Oh, we're not going to get into this. Okay. So that's why you have them at 4.
Yeah, I think it's it's a throwaway year, and that's what I was just trying to say real quick.
I'm not going to discredit that. You know me. I knew where you were going with that. Yeah. As soon as you said throwaway year, I'm not going to let you continue that conversation because I know because I know where you're going with that.
That's why I said I was going to leave it at that. That's why I wanted to go first. That way I could just get it out of the way.
Yeah, because I knew exactly where you were going with that. So, and if anybody wants to know, just Caleb Williams. But I do think that Arizona has the potential to be a 12-5 team, but if Kyler is not going to play the first 6 games, I don't think that they're capable of being a 12-5
I think it's
team.
2 wins. If you're lucky, that's 2 wins. I don't think you can go 500.
Do you even bring back Kyler if you don't win 4?
I don't think so, because why
just let him?
It?
Yeah, I mean, if you're paying him $70 million, let him stay out for the year injured. Granted, he's going to take a hit on his paycheck, but that benefits all sides of the ball.
Kind of what running back did that?
There's 2 running backs that did that. You had Joe Mixon and Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, yeah, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, you're going to protect your investment at the end of the day. I mean, and that's what Arizona and. I don't want to say they're going to get rid of him, but I think if you're smart, you set him for the year.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Mixon...
And you get a 4th place.
They sat Joe Mixon for the year. People can argue that they didn't, but as soon as he was slightly injured and then they were playing and weren't in playoffs, I think they had only won 1 game up to week 8, and then Joe Burrow went down week 11.
Yeah.
So that was not a good situation for them whatsoever, so you weren't going to play Joe Mixon.
Why risk it?
All right, so that being said, let's jump on to the NFC East. Ow! I'm dying today. It's all fish oil.
Fish oil. This is a very hard division to rank.
All right, so then since I ranked it, let's just keep the same rhythm. Let's go NFC East. And now, mind you, this division was pretty close last year. It was either the top 2 and the bottom 2.
And it was kind of funny because at the end of the day, what is the joke of the NFL? It's usually the NFC East. They've always kind of been the joke division.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, there's still a joke in playoffs.
Yeah, they can't win.
There's only one team that made it to the Super Bowl now, and they lost. That's very true. But I will say Kansas City cheated.
Even if it was fixed.
Turfgate,
Refgate, penalty gate, 4th down gate, whatever you want to say.
So now, obviously, I have Washington. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that. So before, when we were talking about OTAs, I forgot to bring up that Jacoby said he went to Washington to be a starter. And that was just recently came out about an hour ago. So if that's the case, then Sam Howell's probably not going to be the starter.
No, I think Jacoby Brisket will be.
Jacoby Brisket.
Jacoby Brisket.
So if that's the case, then Jacoby is a game manager, and you can't win games in this division as a game manager. I'm just being honest with you.
Daniel Jones would like to beg to differ.
So Daniel Jones is not a game manager. He also runs the ball like crazy, which is why I had them at 3. So, and I think the defense there has gotten better. I think the offense, I mean, all they need is receivers to stay healthy. If their receivers can stay on the field, that offense might actually produce.
You got Scary Terry, you got Curtis Samuel, you got Jahan Dotson, and then your running backs are Gibson and who is the guy that got shot?
You're talking Washington. Antonio Gibson and
Brian Robinson. Sorry, Brian Robinson. I'm not trying to be mean. I just know you got shot last year and he came back like a beast.
I thought you were talking about the wide receivers for
the
Dallas.
Giants.
The Giants.
The Giants, my bad, no.
So the wide receivers for the Giants, though, hoping they stay healthy. Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson. All those guys were injured last year.
Wan'Dale he's young, so there's a big question mark there with him. I mean, he can.
They drafted Jalen Hyatt.
I do like that.
They have Isaiah Hodgins. They signed Paris Campbell and Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, they have a heavy wide receiver room. They went heavy in the offseason. And
I think all these guys make the roster. Every single one of those guys. Well, maybe not Jalen Hyatt. It's going to take time for Jalen Hyatt. But
I think if you're...
Well, actually, he's on the roster.
Yeah, I think...
He hasn't been cut. So he made a contract.
Well, Jalen Hyatt is he's a rookie, buddy.
No, I know, but he's He's on. He's a signed roster. He's a signed rookie.
My bad.
So he's on the actual roster.
So I mean, why wouldn't you keep extra wide receivers with the way that things happened last year and the year before that? I mean, why not? some guys keep extra corners, some guys keep extra running backs. I mean, I think you're dumb if you don't keep an extra couple wide receivers because, you can play them at different positions.
I don't know if any of those guys can play a different position.
I mean, you can use them as, like, kick returners, punt returners.
Oh, and let's not forget that they also signed another injury-prone guy by the name of Darren Waller.
No, they traded for him.
What? Yeah, but that too. Yeah, okay, you're right. They did trade for him.
It doesn't matter because guess what? Have you seen the pictures of Daniel Bellinger? That dude is ripped.
I mean, he's always been pretty ripped.
He came back. I think they said he gained almost 20 pounds of muscle this offseason.
Wow.
And sadly, his season was cut short because he got a cut on his eye, I believe.
Oh, another injury! Who would have thought for the Giants receiving core that they would get injured?
I love Daniel Bellinger.
Whatever.
He's going to be...
So, then I have Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason I have Dallas below Philly is because Dak... I just hate Dak.
I'm happy. I hate Dallas. I will gladly just hate Dallas.
I would love to put Dallas at 4, and I
almost did, so we'll talk about that.
Honestly, I could easily put the Giants above Dallas because I think the Giants got that much better than Dallas. Now, Dallas did sign their entire defense, so Dallas' defense is back. But the reason why Dallas lost games was because the defense gave up too many points.
And, I mean, you're without Zeke now. Tony Pollard's still injured. You don't know exactly when he's coming back.
And then they drafted Evan Hall, and they don't have another guy.
You have...
I mean, I got it right here. Give me a second.
I mean, you also have, so at wide receiver, you have, obviously, CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, sorry.
You have Michael Gallup.
Not Evan Hall. Deuce Vaughn. They
Vaughn,
drafted Deuce Vaughn. Oh, they signed Ronald Jones.
That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yep. But again, he was another guy that really couldn't edge anybody out when he played with Tampa. I know he had...
No, Ronald Jones he's that third, fourth down back. Yeah. He's a guy to push you over the edge. I mean, he's not a guy that's going to take 4 downs.
No. I mean, a lot of these Dallas fans, are loving Brandon Cooks, but they did the same thing with Michael Gallup last year when he came back from his injury. I don't see it. Their schedule is just weird. I don't see it.
But they have Antonio Callaway.
Didn't we have him?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one that he was Josh Gordon 2.0?
Pretty much. He had drug issues off the field, and then he signed with 4 different teams.
And that's what you forgot about in news. 2 Browns players were robbed at gunpoint this week.
What?
By 6 guys.
What Browns players got robbed?
Greg Newsome and I think it was Perrion Winfrey. Don't quote me on that, but I knew.
Who robs Perrion Winfrey? The Duke's not even allowed on the football field. He's so dangerous.
Hold on.
Holy cow. Are you at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Man, this world is getting crazy. I don't agree with your rankings.
That's okay.
We're going to go to your rankings. Oh, there's your rankings. Why do you have Philly 1? Why not 2?
Why do I have Philly 1?
Obviously, I know why.
Okay, so Washington's 4. Again, this was before the news with Sam Howell came out, but their quarterback issue is just a big concern for me. I think you have 2 game managers there, one with not a lot of experience, and yet Jacoby did do good with the Browns. I think he also had a top-tier running game here. I think he had a worse defense than he's going to play on, yes, or going to play with, yes. But again, I mean, Scary Terry, I'm sorry, but I think Amari Cooper's better than you. Tight end, another just big question mark there. So for that reason, they're 4th. Dallas, you suck. Next year's not going to be your year, and neither is this year. Sorry, hate to break it to you. Come join the Browns. I think you lost a lot of talent. Yeah, he's old. Yeah, he may have lost a step with Zeke. I mean, you gave up Amari Cooper last year for nothing, and I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to prove anything this year because even when he was with the Texans, he's never, in my opinion, really been a number 1, maybe a number 2. In my opinion, I mean, yeah, you got CeeDee Lamb, but Michael Gallup, another guy who's been injured quite a bit, and then Dak. I don't think Dak's a good quarterback. I think he was bailed out for his first 4 years with a very good offensive line and a very good Ezekiel Elliott behind him. So, and I believe you still had Jason Witten those first 4 years, who is a top tight end ever. And then we go to the Giants, which, like you said, I think the reason why people discount them is the wide receiver issues with the injuries. I think Wan'Dale Robinson's going to have a very good year this year. I think Saquon Barkley will come back. I said it right. Did you hear that? Saquon Barkley will come back and have a good year, not a great year. I think he will miss a couple games, but I think that'll be out of choice by the head coach and not out of actual injury, but maybe, just save him. And then Philly's obviously number one because they brought a lot of guys back. You have an offense that is just very young and stout, and I don't think the schedule makes much sense for them when I look at it. I don't view their schedule as a first-place schedule, so I think they have one of the easiest schedules out of the first-place schedules, if you want to call it that. So for that reason, that's why my rankings are there.
All right, that makes sense.
Who was the other guy?
So you're right. You were 100% right. It was Perrion Winfrey and Greg Newsome left the nightclub on Sunday night, which is Monday morning, and they got robbed at gunpoint by 6 guys wearing masks. They stole Newsome's truck. And then not only that, Demetric Felton's car was also stolen this weekend, along with Kenny Pickett's car, who was stolen last weekend.
You got to chill out.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you 2 things if I'm a player in the NFL, right? So, obviously we have a fall guy. We already know that rule.
Yeah.
All right. Second rule is we live in 2023, and you play in inner cities.
And you live in a city.
Don't be going out partying in inner cities around 2 a.m. at this point, because that's prime time crime time. That's it. That's it. I mean,
yes,
so at this point, you got to be cautious in the NFL.
EDC, everyday carry. Just remember. How does that work? Are they allowed to carry?
Well, yeah, but not if you're drinking in a nightclub. You can't have alcohol.
But let's be honest. If you're robbed and you have alcohol, you shoot and kill a guy.
You are under the influence, and you will probably go to jail.
Just depends if you have a good lawyer.
I would agree with that. I'm not going to argue that. And also 6 on 2. So,
yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Even if they did have guns, I don't think, in my opinion, because they were robbed.
No, your best bet is give up your truck.
It's not worth your life.
Yeah.
If any of us was in that position, I wouldn't, and I would never pull out if I'm.
I would never pull out.
I would never.
That's where he goes with that.
I would never take my weapon out if it was 6 freaking guys.
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on the situation. Is 1 pointing the gun or 6 pointing the gun?
The steel balls.
I mean, that's why. That's also a reason why you don't do 10 bullets minimum. You have 20.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
And I mean, you think they would have some security with them? I know they're younger.
It's just partying at 3:30 a.m. Newsome and Perrion they're not on a big contract. So and then Demetric having his car stolen, I don't know where that was at, but it just seems like there is rampant crime going around in inner cities. Who would have thought?
Let me ask you this real quick, not to get off topic. Do you think the NFL will ever implement security for players if this continues to happen?
No, that's your job. Pay your own security. You're a freaking millionaire.
That's why I asked. Yeah. So
and to be honest with you, be a responsible adult. Don't be drinking on a Sunday night at 2 a.m.
And
go find a wife.
Does it say what club they were at?
I don't think it.
If I had to guess,
it
it's probably the one. There's one on the east side. Does it say club or does it say gentleman's club?
Oh, you know what? That 3:30. It says nightclub.
Okay.
2 players left Cleveland nightclub early Monday morning when they got Newsome's truck in a nearby parking lot. 6 masked men jumped the unknown car, robbed it at gunpoint at 3:30 a.m. In addition to stealing jewelry, the suspects fled in Newsome's truck. That is the report. That's crazy. That's great.
And to be honest, if I'm an NFL player, I'm going out with fake jewelry if I know I'm
to be honest, if I'm those 2 guys, defensive players don't show up at OTAs, but it's just ironic that you should be focusing on football in the offseason and stop partying on a Sunday night because you guys sucked ass in the secondary last year, and I don't want to deal with that garbage, and one of you wasn't on the field all year till game 15.
Was that Perrion Winfrey?
Yes, because he refused to show up. No, he refused to show up to practice, so they suspended him internally.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Oh, crap. I forgot about that.
I'm at the point where, bye-bye, see ya. Gone, Perrion. Done. Done with the kid. So, Calvin Thomas is there. Agbo Okoronkwo is there.
Yeah,
And then you go get the kid from Minnesota.
Siak Ika.
No, Za'Darius Thomas.
Za'Darius,
and then you draft Siak Ika. I don't need you. I don't need your attitude. I don't need you not showing up to work.
No.
Done. Done.
I mean, I think Ika's going to be starting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to rant and rave on Browns players, but that shit pisses me off. Kenny Pickett's doing an interview, gets his car stolen. At least he was being responsible and making money. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
Sorry, I took a trip.
I'm done. Done. You got anything else?
No. I got the would you rather.
Yeah, let's do Wheels' Would You Rather. So this is obviously we're gonna go over some players and we're gonna make the decision on who would you rather have. So if you're in the chat, jump in. Some of you people might not know these people, but he's gonna explain them who they are.
I'm guessing the casual fans will not know these guys. I only knew I'm gonna start with Isaac Bruce because of how legendary he was. Isaac Bruce is a 33rd overall draft pick in 94, played with 22 different quarterbacks over a 16-year career.
Wow.
One Super Bowl ring, 4-time Pro Bowler, and he played for the Rams and Niners, 6'1", 188, 223 games, 1,024 receptions, 15,208 yards. 14.9 yards per
reception. You should have give me the other player before you start running off stats, because I would like to make my decision before I know the stats.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, don't start rambling geez, man, because if I pick a player, is there a right or wrong answer here? Is there one guy that's way better than the other?
It's I try to keep it close. So it's Isaac Bruce. I'll finish it. 91 touchdowns, and then you have Tim Brown, played for the Raiders in 1 year with Tampa.
Now, I don't know much about Tim Brown, but I know about Isaac Bruce. So if I were to pick a player, I would probably say Isaac Bruce.
And I'm the same way. You know what's really sad is Isaac Bruce was not inducted into the Football Hall of Fame until 2020.
How long was he retired?
He retired, I believe, in 2009.
So was it a second or third round ballot?
It was 16 years, so...
So was he second or third round ballot?
He retired in 2009.
Because if he retired in 2009, you have 10 years to wait. So 2019 was his first year, right?
Yeah.
2007. Oh, you're right. 2009.
2009.
Yeah. So if he made it on the ballot, so I guess fourth or fifth round. That is kind of crazy though. But it depends on it also depends on who you're going up against that year. And all that stuff.
But that's the fact. So he played with 22 different quarterbacks. That's insane for being as good as he is. I mean that's insane. You play with 22 different guys.
That says a lot about the Rams.
Yeah. Well, it says a lot about how good he is. So now we go to Tim Brown, 6th overall pick in 1988. Played with 19 different quarterbacks over his 17.
Both these guys didn't get any good quarterbacks.
Year career, 9-time Pro Bowler, a 1990s All-Decade Team, 2-time Second Team All-Pro. Played for Raiders in Tampa. 6', 195, 255 games played, 1,094 receptions, 14,934 receiving yards, 13.9 yards per reception, and 100 touchdowns. And
I picked the right guy.
And he was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2015.
Because Isaac Bruce had 223 games, and you said...
Isaac Bruce had 223, yeah. He had...
And then whatchamacallit had 255.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and the only difference in the stats is the touchdowns for 9. And he played a full season longer.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Two.
Yeah, maybe 2 seasons longer.
He played almost 2 seasons
and
longer.
he has 1,000 less yards.
Yeah.
So I picked the right guy. I was right.
And so with this, I'm only doing guys that have been retired. I'm not doing any current players because that's
now I like,
and I will not be doing the T.O. Randy Moss because that gets done way too much.
Well, I think that's a debate show.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a guy to compare with Larry Fitzgerald, and it's impossible. I mean, it's
T.O.
And that's the thing.
It really is. It's T.O.
I think Fitzgerald's better than T.O. But I never really watched T.O., so that's the biggest thing with me. I watched Larry growing up.
I think that would be a greats debate day. We need to do a show where it's debate the greats.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, I got to watch him. I got to watch Marvin Harrison.
Do you put Larry Fitzgerald on top 10?
Yeah, all day. I think he's top 5.
I was going to say top 5, but there's a lot of good wide receivers out there. I mean
I think
you could be seeing some of the top 5 wide receivers now.
I mean, I think, tight end's another hard one with Tony Gonzalez. There's not a lot of guys to compare him with.
Yes, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so I remember, I'm only doing retired. So once he retired,
You would have to. It would be Gronk. It would probably be Gronk.
And he has way more receiving yards than him. I think he has like 6,000 more receiving yards.
But he played like a lot longer.
Yeah, he played a lot longer. I personally think.
I also say Vernon Davis. A lot of people don't understand.
Yeah,
Vernon Davis was a wide receiver that was labeled as a tight end. San Fran.
Okay. I mean, I grew up watching Tony Gonzalez, Marvin Harrison, Larry Fitzgerald, guys like that.
What about the dude from the Saints?
Not Mike.
That went to Green Bay for a little bit. He went to, I think he went to Seattle for a little bit. Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, I watched him. I mean, I think he's another guy. Jason Witten isn't loved enough. He had a great career.
So here's the thing. I actually went through Jason Witten's stats and Heath Miller's, and they're pretty damn similar, and they not once broke 1,000 yards, or they did it once their entire career. So granted,
they were healthy a lot.
The position was different for them. They were blockers that could catch the ball, and the tight end position wasn't utilized as much then.
Yeah. Tony Gonzalez was a big wide receiver that could play tight end.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez and Travis Kelce are probably the two greatest outside of
Gronk and
Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck you, Skip.
Mike Ditka gets talked a lot about, but I think
that's something that we could have talked about.
Yeah, Mike Ditka's another guy. There's still,
no, we could have talked about fucking Shannon Sharp jumping off the.
I'm happy.
Oh my God, Skip is such a dick.
I'm so happy Shannon Sharp's leaving. I love Shannon Sharp.
They screwed him over.
I hope he gets his own show. He deserves it. I mean, Skip Bayless is.
He's not going to get his own show, but what Shannon Sharp should do, and I haven't watched any podcasts or anything recently. What Shannon Sharp should do is he should talk with the boys. He should talk with the Kelce podcast. He should do something like that with those guys, because I think that would be great.
Or the Pat McAfee show. Could you imagine him on the McAfee?
Well, the problem is, I think, is that not ESPN also?
No, so that's Fox, isn't it?
I don't remember what Skip was on. Is that Fox? I thought that was. No, I thought that was ESPN.
I think you're right. Yeah, ESPN. So I don't know what Pat McAfee. I think it's YouTube. So.
And I don't know if McAfee and Shannon Sharp get along.
I think
McAfee could get along with anybody, but I just don't know if there's a relationship
McAfee is a very good bullshitter. He can get along with anybody.
But they already have, and to be honest, I think what they're doing for McAfee, it's cringe. If they continue to do it this way, and they just got billions of dollars or millions of dollars, if they continue to do it this way, it's cringe. Like, you got to quit doing the on-site camera bullshit on the. It's so cringe. It's so cringe. All you guys are freaking millionaires. You know what? Buy studio.
Yeah. They have a setup. I don't want to say similar to us, but they have a basement setup. I want to say, and I'm not trying to diss them or anything. But
I am. It's 100%
it's an unprofessional setup. I know it's supposed to be talking with the boys, and
that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when you got a guy camming in, and that's your main go-to guy. Like, no, just. Yeah. I mean, either he shows up or you find somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
like, I won't even let guys call in here because the conversation is delayed. And you don't get reactions the way you're supposed to get reactions.
I mean, if I would say to you, I think Vernon Davis was better than Tony Gonzalez, and it's just not the same reaction.
Well, I did say that to you, but I didn't say better, but I did say that to you.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is like some people, the reaction isn't the same.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they could do way better, and they choose not to. That's what bothers me. Yeah. Now, granted, they built the studio, they bought a building, and they do some random stuff, and that's great. I just think it's cringe when you have people mic in, unless you're micing in someone who's not a normal person, who is a guest, who's not from the studio. Like, every day, the same guy mic'd in constantly on camera. Yeah, to me, that's cringe. And I can't remember his name. Is it Hawk? AJ Hawk?
Yeah, AJ Hawk. He used to play for the Packers. I believe he played with Ohio State in college.
And I like AJ Hawk's views a lot of the times, but like, it's just cringe. Just show up. Why can't you be there?
Yeah. I mean, has
he ever been on the show?
That's the whole point of the show. I mean, we would get a studio if we were making the money. I mean, I would love to do this as a full-time job. I would freaking love it. I mean, that would be awesome. That's a major dream.
But it doesn't even bother me. Has AJ Hawk ever been on the show?
No, he's always been on cam.
He's always been on cam.
I think it's almost like a Skype call.
Yeah. It's cringe.
I could understand that during COVID, but not now.
I don't understand. During COVID, their desks are 30 feet apart. I wish I had that space. I'd have a nice studio here if I had that space. Ben Roethlisberger's basement's the size of my house. I wish I had that studio. Jesus.
I love
I'm working in a phone booth.
Even though I'm a Browns fan, I love Ben Roethlisberger's podcast.
It's cringe. It's cringe.
He's just a
But they do just drink. That's all they do is drink.
Yeah, they're boys. And he doesn't care. He made his money. He don't care what people think about him anymore. He's just bullshit.
No, I like that he just says shit.
Yeah.
I do. I've watched his stuff, and
that's always how he's been.
The only thing I don't like is I don't have the pull that he has, so it's like I can't just get Bill Cowher on my episode. I can't just get Kenny Pickett to just show up and do an interview for 20 minutes.
So not trying to get off topic. What did you say? He's like, he didn't.
What was our topic? We're not even on a topic.
No, he's like, I didn't like Kenny Pickett. I didn't think he was good for the team. And like, he apologized to Kenny. He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't even believe in you when we drafted you.
Only thing I like about Kenny Pickett is that he liked country music.
I think Kenny Pickett will be I was high on Kenny Pickett during that draft. I think he was the best quarterback, and
That's
remains
that's
to be
not
seen.
saying a lot.
I know, but everybody was super high on Malik
Talking
Willis.
Sam Howell, Desmond Ritter, Malik Willis.
I was dragged on Reddit and Facebook.
Kenny Pickett was easily the best
Willis.
quarterback coming out of that draft, or the most NFL-ready quarterback coming out of that draft. The only other person I think compared was Desmond Ritter. But Desmond Ritter didn't go to a team that was going to start him right away. Plus, Atlanta sucks.
Yeah, I mean, they're really
like
bad.
they really suck. Like, so if Desmond Ritter was going to play in a pocket, it wasn't going to be in Atlanta.
No,
unfortunately.
No, he fits more of a, I want to say, a Chargers type of scheme. You need talent.
Desmond Ritter going to the Patriots, I'd love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we could talk about. I think this. So real quick, do you think?
Oh, Dalvin Cook, we could talk about that, but
Dalvin Cook, Hopkins, I'm kind of tired of hearing about.
Well, Hopkins, I told you, Hopkins is visiting Tennessee. So, I think that's a good signing if Hopkins goes to Tennessee, because they lost A.J. Brown. They fired their GM because of that.
They didn't lose J.J. Brown. They traded him.
Again, they fired their GM because of that.
I'm happy, and I really hope the Browns don't draft him. I know people want him, but guess what? He ain't worth it.
You mean sign him? Come on, you're going to get all semantic with me.
Sign, draft, whatever. I don't want him. He's not worth the money.
He's not. Well, I think he's worth Odell money.
But
we already have Amari Cooper for what, $20 million this year or $22 million this year? Like, if you sign D-Hop, he's going to want more than Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and
I don't think you can do that.
I think you have a burning bridge with DPJ. Not saying that that relationship's going to.
Oh, and Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore. I think you lose both those guys. I think you lose both those guys.
What you have. I mean,
we know what we have in DPJ. We have DeAndre Hopkins in DPJ.
I think you only keep one of them.
Oh, I said that.
PDs or
No, actually, if you look at their stats last year, like, the targets are the same.
That's like the stats with Jacoby Brissett.
Well, hold on. The targets are the same. The targets are the same, though. If you're getting targeted the same.
He had 1,000 yards, didn't he?
No. They're both right around 700, 800 yards.
DPJ can be a number 2. 100%.
So if they're getting targeted the same and their catch rate's the same, and actually DPJ has a higher yardage per target.
Yeah. And he's younger.
And I'm paying 1/10 of the money.
Yeah. And
why wouldn't
everybody was mad at the Jets saying, "Oh, we like our wide receiver core." You are paying Aaron Rodgers a boatload for the next year at minimum. At minimum. Why would you bring a guy into the mix who's older? He's a veteran. I don't want to say a question mark, but you have a good wide receiver room right now. You have Garrett Wilson, who's going to be a stud. He's a superstar wide receiver, and he will be with Aaron Rodgers. He will put up at least 1,200 yards this year, in my opinion, with Aaron Rodgers, if they are both healthy for the full season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think that Aaron Rodgers is looking at a probably 4,500 yard year with like 40 touchdowns and
guess what? He
maybe
has a
8
really
to 10
good
interceptions
defense behind on the other side.
So, and they might not even need to pass the ball as much as like I'm saying. So it'll be interesting. So that being said, Wheels, give me your takeaways for the day.
My takeaway is I'm tired of hearing about the Dalvin Cook and D-Hop situation.
It's off season. We got to drum up something.
Pay attention to OTAs. Look at the scheduling. I mean, there's a lot of injuries right now with some quarterbacks. There's question marks around the team. I mean, you still got the question mark with Joe Mixon. So I mean, it's a busy off season already. We're not even in to the full, spring, or not spring training, but full
Spring training.
camps.
Yeah.
I guess it is
It's spring training, yeah. I mean, we're not into like the mini camps. That's what you were looking for.
Yeah, not in mini camps, but there's still a lot of news out there, especially for drafts. What's next week's show going to be about?
So next week's show, we're going to do a fantasy draft. We're probably going to try to do at least 1 through 3 rounds, and it's going to be a redraft mock draft. This will be our first one that me and you have probably done in a few years, just because of the simple fact that we play a lot more Dynasty now.
Dynasty.
And then I also have an auto draft, which I literally just let the computer draft for everybody, and then it's about making moves, which that's actually interesting because what it does is it allows you to pick players that you'll never pick.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, like my takeaways for today, like obviously subscribe, please follow us on Discord. It is the Deep Threats on Discord. I'm going to try to figure out how to get a link or something out there that maybe you guys can scan, or a barcode on the screen.
We can get a button.
Then I probably could put a link at the bottom. I could put a link at the bottom.
Put it on my forehead.
And then also please follow us on Facebook. Wheels has been running that, and that'd be great. It is also the Deep Threats at Facebook. And then Twitter, we are the Deep Threats also.
Yep. And obviously YouTube.
Pretty much everywhere.
If you're
YouTube is the Deep Threats podcast, but pretty much everywhere. Just like, subscribe, follow. Also hit the notification button. If you guys aren't getting us our alerts or anything, please hit the notification button. And you guys can catch us live, and you can argue with us live. And that's kind of the whole point of this, is to continue talking live and have these conversations. And today I kind of like we riffed a little bit for the last 10 minutes. That was pretty fun.
I like conversation. I like argument. That's why I'm here. FKJ.
Yeah, and that was the whole purpose of the show, was everybody kept saying structure, structure, structure. But you know what? I love having a topic and then just letting it slide.
Yeah, it's just, it's I don't want to say it's more organic at the end of the day. It comes off cleaner. But so if you hit the watch live button on the Facebook page, it'll bring you to the YouTube page.
Oh. We said no blinks. Oh, we're getting there. We are getting there. I swear we are getting better every day. It doesn't always look like it, and I apologize. But we all have full-time jobs. We all have full-time families, and the next step is full-time football. So, we are all getting there.
It's hype season, boys. Count down. What do we got, 92 days?
It's 93, I think, because that was 100 last Wednesday. So it'd be 93. Right. So I guess tomorrow would be 92.
So it's the countdown begins.
So it's getting there, and we are going to hype up here once like I said, we're going to do a whole bunch of mocks probably coming up. So I think that's all I kind of got for you guys today, and I hope you guys are safe out there. Please don't party in downtown areas late at night. It's just be safe. Take care of your family, friends, and as always, we will leave it at this because we haven't seen Steve in a while. Good luck. God bless. You guys take it easy.
Bye.